This is the Schroth Boss Podcast, a show that helps parents of kids with scoliosis find clarity in their path navigating the scoliosis journey.
You are about to be spoiled. Dr. Katie Blanchard, Schroth Method physical therapist and coach, brings together physical therapists, spine surgeons, and parents to share and discuss tips and tricks for managing scoliosis.
Scoliosis is not easy, but don't worry, we've got your back.
Alrighty, welcome everybody to the Schroth Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Katie Blanchard, Schroth Method physical therapist, health and wellness coach, and today we have Laruen Higginson, the founder of Higgy Bears, on with us. So welcome, Laruen. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Katie. It's great to be here.
You are very welcome. So to start, I just want to ask you a little bit about yourself. And I know you have scoliosis and you've been through a lot through your scoliosis journey. So where did that all begin? And just give us the short recap of, where you started when you were diagnosed and how you got where you are today.
Sounds good. Well, I was diagnosed like a lot of girls when I was 13. I never met anybody else that was like me during that time. I never wore a brace. I just kind of slipped through the cracks a little bit with the doctors. But I just kind of spent my teenage years, having scoliosis and just feeling really alone. And then fast forward like 10 years, I was 26 and it was time to have surgery because my back had gotten way worse, probably because I never, had a brace or anything like that. But I had surgery to fuse my back from T2 to L4. And during the first surgery, they lost motor function. So they had already put in all the screws and rods and they had to take everything out because I couldn't move my legs and then wake me up. And then a couple days later, they put everything back in. And this time everything went well and things were going really well. And then a couple months after, unfortunately, I was in a head-on car accident and my screws, my screws literally came loose. And I had to have a third emergency surgery to fix that. And from that point on, I was just in excruciating pain for the next couple of years, and we just traveled and tried to find answers. And then finally got some relief from a physical therapist that I met. And during that time when I was, I had to go on disability because I couldn't work because I was in too much pain. So I started to think and really wanted to find a way to help other kids to not feel alone like I did growing up, because there's so many kids that have scoliosis, but so I wanted to find a way to do that. So I came up with the idea for Higgy Bears, and they're a little bear that I make little back braces for them and sew rods under their backs for patients like me that have had surgery. And it's just kind of taken off from there.
Yeah, awesome. So you've clearly been through all the stages of having scoliosis, growing up diagnosed at 13, going through the challenges of having scoliosis as a kid, whether that be pain, like, the physical aspect of how, you may look wearing certain clothes, all that type of stuff, getting through your teen years and then finally, getting surgery when you were a little bit older. Mm-hmm. And so when you were younger, were you presented with physical therapy or any of those other options? Or was it more just like, see how it goes and then hopefully fingers crossed it doesn't get any worse?
Yeah, I mean, from what I remember, I went to the doctor, they did an x-ray. I remember the numbers like 35, something around there, but they said, oh, she'll grow out of it, and just kind of sent me on my way. And my parents said, well, they said you'd grow out of it. And I mean, through no fault of my parents, I don't blame it on them, but I didn't go back to the doctor for it until I was an adult. So
yeah, for sure. And I think that still happens a lot. I think there's more and more momentum growing in other ways to treat scoliosis other than just, jumping to surgery first thing or, but with that first like diagnosis of scoliosis, especially, if you do have like a 35-degree curve like you did, I think it's changing that the recommendations are going towards some conservative treatment, whether that be bracing, whether that be Schroth physical therapy, regular physical therapy, that sort of thing. Is changing. I think the trend is changing a little bit, which is really good. But that being said, I think parents are looking, for those options as well a little bit more. But you went through that journey. You got your surgery, a little hiccup with the first surgery.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But here you are now on the other end of it, which is really great. And tell me a little bit about your experience with physical therapists as an adult with scoliosis now, and how that may have helped you pain-wise and with your scoliosis post-surgery now.
Yes. Yeah. Physical therapy really turned my life around, because during that time after my third surgery, I just couldn't get out of bed pain. Like it was awful. And I had gone to see throughout that 2 years and a little bit prior, probably 7 different physical therapists.
Wow.
Just kind of and surgeons traveling to see, doctors to see if they could figure out what was causing my pain.
Sure.
And I finally met a physical therapist who, for some reason, it was just different than the others. Physical therapy is wonderful, but no one had just seemed to figure out what was going on with me. But he figured it out. It was something to do with my SI joint. He told me, I think I can get rid of 80% of your pain if you work with me and, are diligent and work hard. And I did. Awesome. And he definitely got rid of 80% of my pain, if not more.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And that's, something to note that, you definitely need to find the person who is, connects with you and will be able to find that root cause of what it may be causing pain. Because pain can come from all different aspects of the body, especially with scoliosis and even post-fusion. So that's wonderful that you got a lot of pain relief through physical therapy, which is awesome.
Yeah, without that, I would have never been able to do Higgy Bears or anything.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about Higgy Bears. So Lauren, if you're watching the video portion of our podcast here, you can see she's sitting with her Higgy Bears posters behind her, which are really awesome. She's got 2 little teddy bears to her right and to her left with their braces on. So how did this become your idea? I know you want to support kids who may be feeling alone, and just this little gesture of having a bear with them that is like them, whether that being having a brace or having a scar or having rods, applies to them and can help them through, any journey that is a little bit tough. But how did you get the idea in the first place?
So during that kind of 2-year chunk of time when I wasn't working and I was kind of researching ways to help and get involved with other scoliosis patients, I found Curvy Girls, and it's a wonderful support group run by girls where they help each other and just kind of, help each other through it. And they were having a convention in New York. So I said, hey, let's go. And while I was there, there were several different clinics there. And one of them made a little mini brace for an American Girl doll and for a Build-A-Bear, and raffled it off. And I saw like 200 little eyes just light up when they saw this little mini brace, and everybody wanted one. And kind of in that moment, I thought maybe this is why, I'm here at this convention at this time in my life. And I went home to Michigan and just started, trial and error, trying to figure out how to make them. And so I started making them and selling on Etsy to begin with. And it started off as a for-profit business, but it's now a nonprofit, so I can help more kids and just do a lot more awareness and things like that. And it's taken off. They're in 130 countries now, and there's been over 20,000 Higgy Bears that I've made. So there's quite a few out there, but I just really wanted my main thing growing up, I know scoliosis is a physical condition, but emotionally it's so hard too. And I just felt so alone. It just felt so different. And so my way of helping with that is giving the child or teen a little bear that is going through the same thing, and can help them through this, but they're just, in bear form instead of an actual person, which would be better. But it's just a little friend to help them through, whether that be bracing, surgery, casting for the little ones, just really anything. And they really help.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I know at my PT clinic, I have, kids coming in with their brace on and everything. They come right from school where no one else wears a brace. But they come in with their little Higgy Bear friend, they bring it along with them, and they're matching coming to their Schroth physical therapy appointment. And it just really brings them joy. And it's a really great way to also ease like the transition of trying to like, tell your classmates or tell your friends of why you may need to like have different accommodations or, wear this brace under your clothing and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it just makes it less threatening, I think, when you're showing people, oh, my little teddy bear has it too. Yeah, so I think that's great.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously you have a huge heart. You seem like a wonderful person, and that you've turned this to a nonprofit and you've reached so many people. You said 120 countries.
Yes.
Nice. Which is amazing. That kids with scoliosis are getting, this resource to really help them emotionally as they go through the physical aspect and journey of scoliosis, which is really awesome. So I know you do a few other things as well. So tell us a little bit about, I know you're doing Scoli Zoom sessions and also something called ScoliCon. So tell us about those two things.
Yes. So the Scoli Zooms are little support groups I run for kids and teens, and then I have a group specifically for boys called Scoli Bros. They wanted to name it that instead of Scoli Boys.
Yeah.
And we meet every other week, and the kids group is very laid back. We just kind of talk a little bit about scoliosis, like what patterns they have on their braces, and some of the kids will show their braces to the other ones. And then we just play games and just kind of goof off and be silly the whole time. But it's just a way for kids to visually see and talk to other kids that also wear braces or have had surgery. And they really enjoy it. It just kind of is a friend where one didn't exist before. A lot of kids connect afterwards, like through Kids Messenger and things like that. Mm-hmm. And then the teens group is a little bit more serious. We talk more about surgery and school and things like that. And that's more of a support group aspect of it. And we all just, listen to each other's concerns and support each other. And it's just really great. And the Scoli Bros group is really important to me because there is so much support out there for girls, but it's just as hard, if not harder, on boys because the support's just not there. So I'm trying to do everything I can to change that and help the boys out there. So anyone's welcome, but definitely boys, I'd love for you to come and just know that there's support for you too. And then HiggyCon is a 3-day convention that I'm having this summer. This is the first one, which I'm super excited about. It'll be in Kalamazoo, Michigan, where I live. And it's going to be for the parents. I have some awesome speakers from Shriners, from the National Scoliosis Center, Spinal Technology. This is going to be super informative and super helpful on ways to help your kids through this, both physically and emotionally. And then on the kids side, it's basically going to be a 3-day party. We're just going to hang out, play games, do crafts, laugh, really just a way for kids to know that they're not alone. And I'm really just going to try to make it as fun as possible for them.
Yeah, that's amazing having, those two, spectrums of the parents who, with the diagnosis of scoliosis, it's a little bit of panic, and,
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different information from online, from the doctor, they get a second, third opinion, from a physical therapist, and there's a lot of information being thrown at them. And sometimes it's hard to lay it all out in order to make, important decisions regarding your child's care for scoliosis. So having one spot for them to come in a conference to, see these types of speakers and kind of lay out, what the journey may be and have them, take the opportunity to ask questions is really, really awesome.
Yeah.
And then the big party for the kids is amazing as well. Having all kids with scoliosis in one spot, who may be at different points in their journey, and sharing their stories, becoming friends, doing activities together, is going to be really fun. What types of activities do you have planned for that?
Well, first of all, just to say, my giant bears behind me are for HiggyCon, so I don't normally have these out, but they're for HiggyCon. It's just going to be tons of fun. Everything's going to be green themed because scoliosis awareness is green. And we're going to have like green crafts, green minute to win it games, just tons of fun activities that I can't even think of right now, but just so much fun. And we're going to have a kids night and a teen night. We're going to have Scully Girl come, Meredith Martin, who is a ballerina on Instagram. She's going to dress up in all green in a superhero costume for the kids. And
so fun. Yeah.
Elsa and Anna will be there, and it'll just be a blast. And we're going to have a green carpet instead of a red carpet, which will be fun. So it'll just be really just fun stuff like that for the kids.
Yeah, great. So tell us a little bit, what were the dates of that, and how can parents from my audience who are interested sign up for HiggyCon?
Yes, so it's July 17th through the 19th, which is Monday through Wednesday this summer, in Kalamazoo, Michigan. It is pretty much sold out, but if anyone wants to come, I can probably still squeeze people in. So just send me an email if you're interested in coming. It's only $50 for the whole 3 days. I just wanted to make it as affordable and accessible for families as I could. But send me an email. It's Lauren@higgybears.com, and we can chat and see if I can squeeze you in. But it's everyone's really excited about it, so it'll be a lot of fun. I'd love for anyone else to come that's interested.
Yeah, I just encourage everyone, if you have not heard of Laruen or Higgy Bears, check out her stuff. If you want to order a Higgy Bear, they're super cute and super fun, and helpful to your child with scoliosis. And then if you want to check out those Zoom calls, the Scoli Zooms, another great resource for kids. And then finally, she's got HiggyCon coming up in, another month or so, which is really, really awesome.
Yeah.
Make sure to put Lauren's information and how to get in contact with her in the show notes or in wherever I post this podcast. But Lauren, anything else that I didn't ask you about that you would like to share regarding either your struggles with scoliosis, a tip or trick for parents or kids, or like an overarching message that you would like to share?
Yeah. So first I'd like to mention my ambassador program. It's a way for kids and families to get involved and raise funds to basically get Higgy Bears to kids in their area. And kids and teens do these huge fundraisers, and I send them like 150 bears at a time that they then take into their doctor's office. And it's a wonderful experience for the kids to help and give back to other kids at their clinic or hospital. And, it gets bears to those kids. So it helps so much. So if anyone's interested in doing that, they can reach out. And then I would say my main message and tip for parents is, first of all, to let your kids know that they're not alone. It's getting much better to where there is a scoliosis community out there and there is a lot of support, but not everyone has access to that or even knows to look for it. I guess I would say, like, to the kids, just because you don't visually see someone else with scoliosis at your school, there are probably other kids with scoliosis at your school. You're not the only one. They probably hide their brace just like you try to hide your brace. So they don't want anyone to know about it. So, and 1 to 3% of the population has scoliosis. You're not the only person. And I think for parents, the best thing they can do to help their kids emotionally through this is get them connected with other kids that they can talk to. And the more you can just show them that there's so many other kids like them, the better, whether it be through Scoli Zooms. There's some amazing Facebook support groups for parents, where I see a lot of parents post in there, does anyone have an 8-year-old daughter that would want to talk to my daughter? And they connect that way. I think that's the single most important thing. So.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah. It's all about, providing resources and, connection to help everybody get through, some parts of life with scoliosis that aren't always the best. But always showing that, on the other side of things, there's other people, other kids, just like you, who are willing to lend a hand and support. Well, awesome, Lauren. Thank you so much for being on. You have a big heart. You're a wonderful person. And thank you so much for starting Higgy Bears. And we wish you the best of luck going forward.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Katie, and for all the wonderful work you're doing. I appreciate it.
You are very welcome.
Thanks for listening to the Schroth Boss Podcast.
Want more info on scoliosis and the Schroth method?
Join our free Facebook group or connect with us at schrothboss.com.
See you at the next episode.